Prompt number one, what's it going to be? So many people talking about it on April TBR. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leanne and I share home, lifestyle and book content here on YouTube, and today we are doing our April TBR. I can't believe we're already into April. The year is absolutely flying by. So as always, for my monthly TBR, we're going to be choosing 6 books, and 2 of those books are going to come from the library, and to help me choose those library books we are going to use my TBR jar. So I'm going to go and get that now. So here we have my TBR jar. We're going to pick 2 prompts from here and then we are going to head to the library. So prompt number 1, what's it going to be? Here we go. A book that matches the season you're currently in. So that's going to be a spring themed book, isn't it? Because we are now officially just into spring and the sun is shining today. How nice is it? And then prompt number 2. We have a book with flowers on the cover. That's another really good one, and also again quite fitting for spring. So those are our 2 prompts. It is now time to head to the library, so let's go.
Yesterday I was clever, wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. Let go of who you are, become who you might be.
So I am back from the library and I have all of my books here next to me, ready to go, as well as picking the rest of our April TBR. But first, of course, it's time to go make a coffee. Hello, I'm back in the office. I have my stack of books and Kindle. I have my coffee, which I'm going to have a quick drink of, and I'm going to try and remember not to move too much because it's not going to do it now. My office chair squeaks, and the last couple of videos that I've edited, all I can hear is my chair squeaking in the background. So I need to try and remember to stay as still as possible. So let's get straight in with the book choices, starting off with the library books. There were a few options available in the library today. It was a lot easier to find options this month than it was last month, but let's start with a book with flowers on the cover. There were a few options, but the one I chose was Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass. I have wanted to read this for quite a while. I've seen so many people talking about it online, and it has roses on, so it fits the description. It's book 1 in a duology, I think, and I know it's got trial aspects, and I know it's got like gladiator gods type. It says, step into the Colosseum at the Spartan War Academy, where monsters are made, immortality is won, and even a god can die. That sounds really good, doesn't it? So yes, this is book 1 for our April TBR. And then for our second library book, the prompt was a book that matches the season you're in. It is, of course, spring. I did find a couple of options. There was one, the book with Cornwall on the front cover. I thought, oh, that looks a bit spring. And I actually opened to the first page and it literally said in May. So that was an option. But then I found this one and it says springtime in the title. So I decided to go with this. And I've read a few books by Katie Ford before. I think I even own a few. Yes, I own a few of her books as well. So I know she's an author that I enjoy, but I've never read this one before. It says, Julie runs her own B&B business from her much-loved family home, which she doesn't want to part with at any price. But then she meets handsome estate agent Leo, and soon she begins to wonder whether selling up might not be such a bad thing after all. Meanwhile, her daughter Helena, a talented weaver, has become close to her new landlord, who's offered to help her at an upcoming craft fair. It's what friends do, and they are just friends, aren't they? With spring in full bloom, Helena and Julie begin to ask themselves the same question. Is this the real thing, or just a springtime affair? So it's going to be just a fun, what do they call it, chick lit novel, which I very much enjoy, especially when I have quite a few fantasy options this month. In fact, this may be the only non-fantasy book on my list this month, I think. So yes, A Springtime Affair by Katie Ford is book number 2 on our April list. Our next choice I do not yet know, because it is my favourite thing to do on the picking the TBR for the month, and it is spin the wheel. I don't know what it is about spin the wheel, but I very much love it, and I'm very excited every single time that I do it. So let me just find the spin the wheel app and go onto my physical TBR wheel. So this has not all of my physical TBR, because I have a lot of series. So if it's a series, it has the next book that I need to read in that series. For most of them, it's book 1. There's a couple where I'm on to book 2. So book 2 is on the wheel. It's actually Foxglove by Adeline Grace. So let me just get that off my shelf. Here we go. And I laughed because actually last month's Spin the Wheel was Belladonna by Adeline Grace. It was book 1 in the series. I'm glad that this has come up because I did really enjoy reading Belladonna in March. For some reason, I'd convinced myself that I wasn't going to like the book, and it had been on my shelf for so long, and I've been keeping so many books on my shelf for so long, which is why I set up the Spin the Wheel. I saw Laura Reed's doing it on her TBR video, so I thought, oh, that's a good idea. It's just funny that I've done it for 2 months and I'm reading the same series, but I'm going to add this to the pile of our books. So next is a book that I've heard a lot about. So this book is going to be on my Kindle. I'm just going to find it. So when I started my BookTok account at the beginning of January, I was obviously looking through quite a lot, finding new accounts to follow. And one of the accounts that came up was by someone called Samantha Louise, who is an author, an indie author, and she was in the process of releasing her first book it's available on Kindle Unlimited, and you can also purchase a physical copy. It wasn't out at the time, but it did come out, I think, in March. I want to say it was released in March. And that is, I don't know if you can see because it's quite a dark cover, but Orolith Academy So obviously I've heard Samantha herself talking about it, but then a couple of other people that I also follow on BookTok, they have recently read it and have been raving about it, and it sounds right up my street. So obviously it's in an academy, it's got an academy setting, there are different houses in the academy, different elemental magics. It just sounds right up my street basically. So that is my book for a book I've heard a lot about this month. If this is the first of my TBR videos that you've watched, I should probably explain how I choose my books. So I will have 6 books each month. I will choose 2 prompts from my prompt jar to go to the library and pick 2 library books, and then the other 4 books, this is what I'm doing at the moment until I feel the need to switch things up, but I've got 4 set prompts to pick the other 4 books. So I used Spin the Wheel to pick a book off my physical TBR, then I have a book I've heard a lot about, that is my second prompt, continuing a series, my third prompt, and then finally my 4th prompt is one of my 26 for 2026 books to make sure that I'm going to get through that list throughout the year. So far we've done the Spin the Wheel and a book I've heard a lot about. The next prompt is continuing a series, and again this is going to be on my Kindle, so let me just find it. I have been reading the Compelling Fate saga. I read book 1, which is A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly, at the beginning of January. I am literally currently reading book 2 in the series, which is A Promise So Bold and Broken. I think I have about an hour left in the book, so I'm probably going to finish that today. So for my continuing a series, I'm going to go for book 3 in the Compelling Fate saga, which is A Bond So Fierce and Fragile. It's hard to see it on my Kindle screen because my light is shining. But yes, A Bond So Fierce and Fragile. If you don't know what this is about, it follows Lesia. She's half fae, half human. In book 1, she is forced to infiltrate the human elections basically, and lots of things happen. There is 2 love interests, there is enemies to lovers, lots of tension, lots of brilliant banter, but also quite heart-wrenching. I like a book that plays on my emotions, and this series is definitely doing that. I really enjoyed book 1. It took me a little while to get back into book 2. I felt it was a bit slow, but it's really picking up now. And I just think the last 2 books are going to be brilliant. I'm very excited to continue with the rest of this series. And then the final prompt is 26 for 2026. So I'm going to pop on the screen right now my 26 for 2026. And also I've ticked off all of the ones that I've read. So you can see I'm making quite good progress, I think, for the year. To say we're only at the end of March, we've had 3 months. I'm making pretty good progress to get all these books ticked off by the end of the year. So what I have got for this month is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. So I got this from the library. I reserved it and I got the message yesterday saying that it had to come in. So I had to go and pick it up today. So that's why basically I started videoing my April TBR today, because I had to go to the library anyway. It is in fact only the 28th of March, which is why I keep getting confused. Sometimes throughout this video I've said the beginning of April and sometimes I've said the end of March, because it is currently the end of March, but it will be the beginning of April when I post it. So anyway, back to the book. I have just read my first ever Stephanie Garber book. It was Alchemy of Secrets, and I've got to say I didn't hate the book, but I didn't love it either. It was really clever. The concept of the story was really clever. It was like so mysterious. It really hooked you in with wanting to know why things were happening, what was going to happen next. It was set in LA in like the movie industry, but there were also a lot of scenes that felt like 1930s speakeasy vibes, and the writing was beautiful and I could picture the world so easily. but the book was just completely lacking in emotion for me, completely. So in Alchemy of Secrets, the FMC is basically told she has 24 hours to live unless she does this one thing. So the book is her trying to do this one thing so she doesn't die. And there's no fear, there's no rushing, there's no terror, there's no hurry. Her sister is also missing and she doesn't seem overly concerned by that at all either. So I'm hoping for more for this. I just need to feel some emotion. I need to feel some emotions when I'm reading this to see if it's worth trying any more by Stephanie. We shall see how I get on with it anyway. Coffee has gone cold. It always goes cold when I'm filming these. I make a coffee to drink whilst I'm doing it and then I always forget about it. It's still nice though. I am really enjoying my new coffee machine. So this is our April TBR. 4 physical books, 2 on the Kindle. I like to keep my list at 6 because I do enjoy having a set list of books to read, but I also just sometimes like to choose whatever it is that I'm feeling. And this way I get the best of both worlds. I can stick to my list, but I have enough time to mood read if I wish to. Unfortunately, last month I never managed to film my February wrap up for YouTube. I did do a couple of videos on TikTok. I don't know whether I posted them on Instagram, to be honest. I'm not very good at posting on Instagram for book content, but I did post them on TikTok. I did a yes, no, maybe, and then I also think I did a carousel post with my star ratings. But I promise I will do a March wrap up. I will get that filmed. I'm going to attempt to film it tomorrow. I know we're not quite at the end of March, but I could make a start on it. We shall see. I can hear my chair creaking as I'm sat here, so I know it's going to annoy me so much when I'm editing this video. Again, I'm going to hear it squeaking all the way through. Anyway, that is it for today's video, I think. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. I love watching everyone else's TBR reading list at the beginning of the month. They're always fun videos for me to watch of other people's, so I do also love making them, and I hope that you enjoy this one. Because I have only just recently started doing book content, my book content still is not getting as many views as my home content. I knew this was going to happen, but I really do love doing the book content. So if you see this video, if you watch it and enjoy it, please do like and consider subscribing. It will mean the absolute world to me. So thank you again, and I will be back with another video very soon. Bye.